Hey guys, I'm meteorologist Chris Tomer. Let's talk some mountain weather, and this is the On the Snow Before You Go forecast. A powerhouse storm system still dropping snow in California, but its next stop with big totals is the interior. Utah, parts of Wyoming, parts of Idaho, and parts of Colorado as well through like 12, 14, 12, 15. But odds of best snow here on my spider chart where you see more purple higher on the web. All the places I just mentioned: California, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, and then potentially down the road, we're looking at the Northeast for a storm system around 1216, 1217. So here are my bullet points. The Sierra has already received over 2 feet, working on 3 feet, and it's still snowing there. So they'll add to those totals today. And then I mentioned the next stop for this big storm system with colder air, lots of wind, and big totals for the interior. And then again, that possible northeast storm system, 1216, 1217. A brief look at the cams here. This is Mammoth Mountain, where it's still snowing hard. You can tell they are absolutely socked in on all of the cameras. So continuing to snow hard there. Here's the setup on water vapor. So oranges and reds represent drier air aloft, but there's the big low moving through California at snail's pace. It's got a moderate atmospheric river setup, so like a fire hose of moisture just hitting the Sierra. Then eventually it moves into the interior. And then after that, things really settle down across the west, and the action moves towards the east and the northeast. Let me just show you what the timing is of all this. So this is the future radar and the satellite. Watch the clock. So here's Monday morning at 6. Here comes the big storm into the interior. Tuesday at 6 a.m. There's Wednesday at 6, very slow moving low with lots of wraparound snow through parts of Montana, Wyoming, and the central to northern mountains of Colorado. And then by Friday it's gone, and it's moving out towards the northeast, where it could become a snowstorm for the northeast. But look how quiet it is by the time we get into 1216 across most of the west. It's you're really looking at the flow that's kind of split at that point, and it's pretty tranquil for most of the area. All right, let me show you what the flow looks like here with the jet stream. So this is 1212. There's the low, trying to move its way out, but it's such a large trough that it's going to start to spin like a bowling ball and kind of sit there, and it's going to take a couple of days, maybe 3 days, for this thing to get ejected properly out of the area. Here is the 1213 view, and again, there's some movement there, but not much. So that represents a big wraparound snow effect. I mean, the Dakotas are going to get nailed. Eastern Wyoming, eastern and southeastern Montana nailed. And the central to northern mountains of Colorado, with that type of wraparound snow, there are going to be some big totals in the central to northern mountains of Colorado. And then looking way down the road, this is 1220, and the west is pretty quiet. There's one small low kind of sliding down on the northern branch with some light accumulations out of Banff and Montana. But that's really it. All the action at this point is still probably in the east and the northeast. So let me look at totals. And I'm going to do this in 2 phases. So all of the 11th through the 15th, so you can kind of see how this shakes out. Additional snow in California, and then big totals. And the Wasatch, I'm thinking, 1 to 2 feet. Just a little over a foot there for Grand Targhee, Jackson Hole, and the Tetons. And then in Colorado, the biggest totals are going to be in the central to northern mountains, especially between Loveland, Vail, Winter Park, Eldora, Cameron Pass, Steamboat, Buffalo Pass. With the wraparound snow for like 3 days, you could end up with 1 to 2 feet in most of those areas. So there could be some big totals there. And then it's lower numbers as you get away from the track of this low. Again, that's through the 15th. This is the 16th through the 19th. It's much quieter across the west. Some very light accumulations from Banff, Pacific Northwest down through Montana, Wyoming, because of that one low that's just moving very quickly with the split flow in the jet. Now the northeast, this is 1212 through 1219. The bulk of these big numbers that you see here occurs 1216, 1217, with the possibility of a coastal low that develops. If it develops, then you get big totals. If it doesn't, the numbers go way down. This is an optimistic viewpoint for that period, but at least it does give you some hope and something to look forward to. 1216, 1217. All right, guys, again, this has been the On the Snow Before You Go forecast. Take care.